that pressure is a privilege, and if that's the philosophy of Glory boss David Drillich or Wellington's Giancarlo Italiano, they must be relishing the assignment confronting them, simply to take their sides from the desolate A-League wilderness to the clamour for the championship. For Perth, the glory days were the early years, the Despotovski days, 3 premierships and 2 championships between 1999 and 2004. Today, a Despotovski returns. Sebastian, the teenage son of a famous father, makes his first A-League start. So can he provide the ignition, or will it be Wellington snarling at the critics who have already written them off and promising the snap and crackle, high-octane, vibrant, attacking football? The stage is set, the preparation complete. Now it's up to the players, and you get to see it all live right here on Paramount Plus. So the team used 5 new faces in this Perth lineup, including goalkeeper Matt Sutton, who was rushed into the starting side after Mark Birighitti injured his knee during the week. Scott Wooten faces his old side for the first time in the A-League, while Kaczarski, Bozanovski and Kaltak are the new faces. Cameron Cook will not be on the bench in goal. That's because he was injured in the warm-up. So Ryan Warner, the 19-year-old academy keeper, will take his spot on the bench. Well, there he is, the son of a gun, Sebastian Despotovski. Tonight makes his A-League starting debut. 29 years this week since his dad Bobby made his glory debut in their first NSL match, October 13, 1996. Bobby, the inaugural Johnny Warren medalist, golden boots in the A-League in the first season, and 2 NSL championships with glory in 2003 and 2004. And Sebastian said this week he wants to give the Glory faithful the same special memories. And there he is, Bobby Despotovski, very, very proud father. As I mentioned, 2 championships with Perth Glory in the NSL, the inaugural Golden Boot and Johnny Warren medalist in this competition in 2005-06. And there is his 19-year-old son making his starting debut tonight. Wellington, they've got 4 new recruits in this starting 11. They've got Canadian international Mandrake James adding steel to the back line. Carlo Armiento returns to the A-League from the Italian 3rd Division, while Rami Nazarene was recruited after departing Western United at the end of last season. Nigerian striker Ifeanyi Eze scored 15 goals for Al-Khark in Iraq last season. The question is, can he bring that kind of form into the A-League men's? He also provided 5 assists in the Iraq Stars League. He was the 4th top scorer. So how quickly does he make the step to this competition? So Ben Abraham in charge of this one. Our referee officiating his 80th A-League men's match. Casey Rybelt in the VAR booth, the assistant VAR Sam Kelly. And we're ready to go here. Saturday night in Perth, the opening round of the 21st Isuzu UTE League season. And we are underway. The pressure has been built, and the pressure not yet released by the start of this match. We've got a bit of a false start. I think we should be right to go now. So, Phil Moss, the pressure has been building on these 2 clubs. So who is it that will find the release in the opening round?
Yeah, good evening, Benny. Great to be alongside you. How exciting, the start of a new season, all the talk finishes now, the action begins, and actions must back up the pre-season talk. Let's hope for both of these sides they don't have a full start like we just had for kickoff, because neither coach can afford that. Both clubs with a fairly high turnover, particularly Perth Glory during the off-season. So David Zadrilich, speaking with him during the pre-season, they are absolutely primed for a fast start this season. Tonight's a great opportunity. Wellington, has to be said, the greatest of pre-seasons.
Just dispossessed as he looked to find some space down the left edge. Surprisingly, this distance derby down the years, and maybe unsurprisingly consider the travel that both sides have had to overcome, is that it is pretty much dead level, this fixture. Wellington just marginally tipping the scales in their favour, 22 wins to 21. Adam Taggart, early chance here. And Wellington through Roy Conchi do just enough to clear it over the sideline.
Well, that's a warning sign for Wellington. Just caught flat at the back there. Adam Taggart, we know how deadly he is with those runs. He just times them perfectly. Ball that picked him out was a very smart one. You could see Taggart was trying to deliver it into a central area straight away.
Draker James with a clearance up towards fellow Newman Ifineze.
Just going back to your earlier point, Benny, it is a distinct advantage for Perth playing at home. I was over there with work just last week, 3-hour time difference. It's a long trip over, particularly for Wellington. A longer trip for Wellington it was for me from Sydney. But it does mess with your body clock, there's no doubt about it. 3 hours is just enough to unsettle you. I always found that with the Mariners and Sydney FC. It was a real mental game to go over there and perform.
Well, the benefit for the Knicks is that they played that trial match against the Mariners last week, and then they stayed over in Australia and headed over to Perth. So they've had a fair bit of time to acclimatise, get over a bit of jet lag as well. And it's probably helpful that this match for them has come in the opening round of the new season, because they haven't had any matches before competitively.
You mentioned the coaches under pressure. Of course, every coach is under pressure, but you're right in saying that Driller and Chiefy, probably alongside Ufi Talay, will be the three most under pressure coaches starting this season. But Chiefy, always vulnerable, always honest, transparent, said that he lost himself a little bit last season. Lost who he was, tried to be someone he wasn't, and that's very noble of him to come out and say that. So he will have learnt valuable lessons from that last season, no doubt.
He says that he wants to be more ruthless when it comes to the big selection calls this season. That is very sharp work from Brian Caltech. Just as an opening presented itself for Wellington, he's going to be huge for them at the back.
Oh, he's a wonderful pickup, not just his athleticism and his strength, but the way he reads the game, his leadership. He was an absolutely wonderful signing for the Central Coast Mariners, central to the success they had under Mark Jackson.
Goes Alex Rufer. Became a new dad in the off-season, so too did Tim Payne for Wellington. Welcome daughter Harper into the world. Well, massive year for Carlo, isn't it, Mossy? Because his best has been excellent in the A-League. He's won Player of the Month in this competition when he's been at Brisbane. Spent time at Perth and Adelaide. Just needs that consistency. We know he's got the quality. This is a big moment for him this season at Wellington.
Yeah, it really is. He wouldn't be the first player to sort of relaunch his A-League career through Wellington. He does need consistency. He needs to find a home, Armiento, and deliver consistent performances.
So Armiento, the set piece not the best, and then Sawa blasting it high and wide. If you're wondering, Mossy, the kit here for Wellington, a bit of green in the kit. This is inspired by the green belt around Wellington. Natural surrounds. Don't mind the look of it. First appearance this season in the A-League in their new away kit.
I knew you'd have the answer for us, Benny.
I'm a bit of a kit nerd. Love a good kit, and Wellington certainly easy on the eye as Kaltak drives it through the middle towards Adam Taggart. Who Kazuki Nagasawa actually mentioned in his press conference, Adam Taggart, and that's not just from his exploits in Australia. He remembers playing him in Japan when Taggart won the Golden Boot with Suwon Blue Wings. He said, yep, we are very wary of Taggart, and I remember playing in Japan. He was excellent when he was at the Blue Wings. This is Despotovsky. Neat bit of skill. What a delivery. Oh, what a start that was, almost, for Jaden Kacharski in the purple of the glory.
Oh, give him the ball more often. Sebastian Despotovsky, what an introduction that was. Look at this for quick feet over on the left-hand side, and then he picks out the run. And Kacharski was millimetres away from getting something on that, which would have posed all sorts of problems for Alawaimi. Absolutely brilliant work by Despotovsky.
Well, Mossy, this is what is going to be so exciting in the A-League men's this season. 21 years old, this competition. We are getting father-sons coming through. And Sebastian Despotovsky, the latest of them, and we are already seeing his talent, the 19-year-old. We saw photos of him when his dad was celebrating the NSL Grand Final wins, him out there hand in hand with his dad. Now he's out there in glory colours.
Well, seeing him just do that little piece of brilliance on the left-hand side ripped open a scar of mine from having to mark Bobby Despotovsky all those years ago at this very stadium. He was a tricky customer. Perth had a wonderful side back then in the late 90s. Despotovsky, you just knew he could not switch off for a split second. Look at this for quick feet from his youngster, and then that is wonderful delivery. It's a sign of a very, very confident young player.
Yeah, 3 premierships in that period. 99, 2000, 01, 02 and 03, 04 in the NSL, and then championship victories in 2003 and 2004. And Perth's only other premiership was in 2018-19 season under now Socceroos boss Tony Popovic, when they went all the way to that grand final, suffered heartbreak against Sydney FC. That's where David Julich wants to take them back to those kind of glory days after back-to-back wooden spoons and 3 in the last 4 years. It's been a really wretched run in the West, but they've got the team this year to turn it all around. Taggart. Scott Wooden to 4 seasons with the Knicks. He's looking to release. Kacharski brought it down well. Olawaemi did just enough to smother it almost between his legs and just slow the momentum of the ball.
Well, that's the second time this evening that Wellington have been caught flat. The first one was the Taggart run that burst them open. The second one was Kacharski, and that was just a long straight pass from Scott Wooten that picked out Kacharski. Look at this. Look how flat Wellington are there at the back. Kacharski, that's wonderful technique to bring that down on his chest. He didn't just quite get enough on the second touch. Credit to Olawaemi as well. He got out smartly. Did just enough.
Mossy, we have been told this season by Wellington they are going to play a high line defensively. So that's going to provide opportunities. It's going to provide entertainment tonight.
And that's okay. It's okay to play a high line, but you can't be flat-footed. You've got to be side on, and you can't be pushing out as the opposition have the ball at their feet facing you. So it's in the timing of when you push out and when you start to play that high line, and then your body positioning as well.
Well, let's check in downstairs with Jacob Burns. Jacob, good evening.
Ben, Mossy, how we doing?
Fantastic, mate. Great to hear your dulcet tones, Burnsy.
Well, it's opened very well here, mate. And you were spot on, Mossy. With the high line, we've got Chiefy right out in front of me, screaming at the defenders to push up and play such a high line. But you're spot on, mate. If they get squared up and they aren't dropping as there's time on the ball, both opportunities for glory have come through that high line.
Yeah, it's you know, it can be high risk, high reward at times, Burnsy, can't it? But you know yourself as a midfielder, or former midfielder, you used to love it. If there was a high line, you were on the ball facing forward, all you needed was a forward run.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what they've Glory have kind of really latched onto. And when you've got that pace, when you've got smart players like Target on the shoulder and Kacharski, you can catch them and get in between. But that alongside with Bobby's boy Seb, they've looked very lively from the start.
Thanks, Burnsy. Looking forward to chatting to you throughout the game. Jacob Burns sideline for us tonight. 11-time Socceroo. 116 matches at Perth Glory across his time. This is Mandraker James, the Canadian international, who's named after the Indian cricketer Sanjay Mandraker. That was because he was born on the Caribbean island of Dominica. His family was cricket mad, but he, after they moved to Canada when he was 8, found a love for football and hasn't looked back.
Isn't that developing nicely? There's a one-on-one battle. Eze up against Caltac.
He's looking sharp, isn't he, Eze?
He is. 15 goals in the Iraqi main league. And I think you said 5 assists, was it?
Yes, 5 assists last season. I was just thinking, Mossy, how much do you know about the Iraq League? Have you been having a chat with Graham Arnold, Robbie Stanton? I just wonder how it compares to the A-League. I would think there'd be similarities.
Yeah, I have had a couple of chats, of course, since I've been over there, and they are going to as many league games as they can, obviously, to watch their players in action and scout for any potential national team players. Of course, they missed out on direct qualification just during the week gone. A scoreless draw against Saudi Arabia away, so they now have to play a couple more games in November. But yeah, the league is competitive. The fans are fanatical. The atmospheres over there are incredible.
Osler with a throw to Despotowski. Just lost his footing at the key moment. Yeah, and to be honest, very challenging for Iraq in that World Cup qualifying group in the week just gone. As we see Despotowski just get himself in a tangle. They, of course, had a 3-day turnaround in that group. And the two teams who got the 6-day turnaround, they were able to qualify for the World Cup. So unfortunate for Graham Arnold and Iraq, but they've got to go through the playoffs. But he's done it before in the playoffs, so it's going to be a big campaign for them now. One to certainly watch as he looks to become the first Australian coach to lead another country other than Australia to the World Cup finals. Former Socceroo there, David Drillich, 30-time capped between 97 and 2005. Here's Tim Payne getting himself involved, finding Eze. And Rufer, the Knicks captain, looking for that decisive pass through the middle, but it's turned over, and now Jaden Kacharski able to stretch his legs Signed for Western United, and then of course couldn't play there, so made the move to Perth Glory under his old assistant coach at Sydney, David Drillich. So of course, knowing his boss well, and Drillich would know Jayden Kicharski and what he can offer, because he had a big impact off the bench for Ufi Talay over the last few seasons. Taggart poking it through. Kicharski! What a start in the purple of the Glory for Jayden Kicharski!
Well, the key here for Kicharski is he doesn't think twice. Once the ball is laid into his path, he just lets it drop onto his foot and he just focuses on his technique. Again, Despotovsky involved. And look at this from Taggart. He knows exactly what he's doing. I think that's fine on the Harvey Norman replay, but look at this. Kicharski's all about technique. He knows it's the far post that he has to hit, and he does it absolutely brilliantly. Look at this, great stuff from Taggart. Down on the chest, volleys it over the last defender, and Kicharski just puts his laces through it. Olawayemi with a hand to it, not enough to keep it out of the net. Kicharski, an instant Perth Glory hero.
A-League debut for the Glory. A-League goal scorer for the Glory, Jayden Kicharski. What a moment for the former Glenwood Redback, the 23-year-old. Departed Sydney via Western United to Perth Glory, and now they lead the Knicks 1-0 in the distance derby.
What a start for a young player, just coming to a new club. It's brilliant work by Despotovsky and Taggart. And gee, if that's a snapshot for Perth Glory fans of the front line, Despotovsky, Taggart and Kicharski, it's a pretty good way to announce that you're going to deliver this season.
Brandon O'Neill collecting Rami Nazarene. Nazarene believing it should have been a yellow ticket, but Ben Abraham happy with just the free kickers. Roy Conch links with Armiento. You just feel, Mossy, Perth, their eyes are lighting up. Adam Taggart and Jayden Kicharski must be licking their lips with this high line that Wellington are playing, especially with the lack of pace for Kelly Heald and Mandrake James on that left side defensively of Wellington. There's a massive, massive opportunity for Wellington to exploit on that side with the pace of Kicharski and the guile of Adam Taggart. Kelly Heald. Roy Conchi. Thwarted by Caltac. Well, the Shed are up and about. Those moments few and far between over the last period of time as Lockie Wales with a key intervention. The high line has been exploited again. Taggart is through. Kicharski. Oh, what? What is going on here for Jayden? It's going to be rubbed out. He very nearly, well, he may yet, Mossy, he may yet have 2 goals in a matter of minutes, but the flag from Hugh Fenton White has gone up.
Yeah, no, I thought it was offside straight away. Taggart tried to delay his run, tried to arc his run, but the delivery just didn't come quick enough. It's closer than what we think.
I think it is very, very tight.
It could be on here. And look at this, Kicharski. I mean, this is football hurry-curry from Wellington Phoenix. There's no doubt about it. Love to get Burnsy's thoughts down on the sideline again, but you just can't play like that.
Well, VAR is having a look here. It's Casey Rybelt in the booth. Jayden Kicharski, who coming in tonight had scored 7 A-League goals in 62 appearances. He scored 3 last season for Sydney. He may just be about to record 2 in his first match for Perth. And it is tight. That's why it's taking quite a period of time as the rain begins to fall. The check continues. And it is offside. Disappointment for the Perth Glory faithful.
Yeah, I must admit, to the naked eye, first go, I thought it was offside because he went and then had to check his run again. I thought he'd gone just a touch too early, or the delivery came a touch too late, whichever way you want to look at it. But then if you look at it, you know, once Taggart did get through, there was two defenders against 3 attacking players. Taggart had the choice to go left or right.
Well, Wellington have a reprieve for the moment, just a moment of breathing space with this free kick, because it feels like they have been under the pump as Alex Rufer douses himself with some water. They've been doing a lot of work.
The other thing that Wellington have been doing is playing into the Perth Glory trap rather than using the width of the pitch. Tried to force the pass, and I'm pretty sure from memory that's where the goal came from as well, a transition moment.
So the delivery decent up towards Eze. Roy Conchi recycling. And O'Neill with the clearance. Once again, there were 2-on-1 Perth Glory had up there. And we're going to come back for the free kick for Wellington. And we'll head down to Jacob Burns. This has basically happened right in front of you, Burns. But we want to ask you about this high line Wellington are playing. What's your view on it?
Yeah, hey guys. Yeah, spot on. They're playing such a high line, and the two things that really need to happen, you guys have both touched on it, is you need to have super quick centre backs, or your goalkeeper has to be playing, you know, outside the box with a really high line also. But they're getting caught every time, and it's really suiting Perth Glory at the minute. And like Mossy mentioned, Wellington are playing centrally into a press. Glory are on the front foot, and that's where the goal came from, and all their chances have come from so far. The goal Kacharski scored come from Risdon of all sorts, coming in, pressing the straight ball, gets into Despotowski and flicks it around the corner to Taggart, and they're in. And they look such a threat every time they get a ball in transition with that high line. I think that Chiefy's going to have to either adjust, get his keeper to play a lot higher outside the box, or the central backs have to give themselves a half a yard every time that Glory's got time on ball.
Burnsy, it was beautifully illustrated by yourself there. As the replay came up, you could see if Oluwayemi was sweeping, he would have been able to clear that ball away, because Kacharski really only got control of it right on the edge of the box, Mossy.
Yeah, that's right. Burnsy's, I won't repeat what he's just said because it was perfectly articulated, but getting that balance right is so critical.
Did mention pre-game, that's the way Wellington want to play this season. They really want that attacking focus. After last season where they really spluttered across the campaign, just 27 goals. And Barbarousse scored 10, their second top scorer, Corbin Piper, with 3. So that gives you an indication of the headwinds they faced in the attacking department.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm no mathematician, but that's about 40% of the goals that they scored came from Costa's boot. He's now gone. He was 35 years of age last season. And of course, he scored tonight for Western Sydney Wanderers, his new club. So it doesn't look like drying up anytime soon. In fact, I've got him down as my favourite for the Golden Boot this season. But Eze is going to have to aim up quickly to just replace those goals.
Chance potentially here for Nazarene. Well, that was poor from Perth. And Matt Sutton, yeah, he's just saying to his side, just relax for a moment, because that was almost a golden chance for Wellington to make it 1-1 out of nothing. Despotowski, he's had some silky touches. The high line again. It's causing carnage for Wellington. Kickoff. Taggart. All the way, Emmy. Taggart. It's taken him 25 minutes to find the back of the net, or maybe not. The flag comes to Wellington's rescue for the second time in this first half.
Well, let's wait and see what Casey Rybelt thinks in the VAR booth. But once again, transition to attack. Wellington give the ball away. Perth go forward. Wellington flat on halfway. Look, both defenders are square. Kickoff, look at the space he's got. He could have gone himself here. Unselfishly plays Taggart in. I'm not sure. Well, she is there. Because there's a defender on the line.
Yes, that's the question. I wonder whether Wales is beyond the second last and he plays a role potentially in blocking the vision. That's the only way I can see this getting ruled out. We'll have another look. Casey Rybelt's getting plenty of work in this first half.
Here we go. You see Kickoff driving. He picks out Taggart with a sensible pass. No problem there. No problem there. A good save, Oluwayemi. That is what I'm assuming.
He's all right there.
And I think he's fine.
I think it's fine too.
Defender on the line.
David Drillage can't believe it.
After the factual review, we have goal.
It's Taggart on target. Perth Glory in dreamland. 2-0 they lead Wellington, and both of their attacking frontmen are on the board in the first 26 minutes.
Well, you weren't going to keep a good man down tonight, Adam Taggart, with that high line. He's finding himself on the scoreboard already. On the Harvey Norman replay, it's Kickoff who does the creative stuff on the right-hand side. He picks out Taggart there. That's a decent strike and a decent save. And then Lachie Wales plays a very smart game there. He's not facing the target, but he's facing Taggart, who is facing the target, lays it off, and the marksman doesn't need a second invitation. Well, he gets one and then takes it. Wellington at 6s and 7s at the back, it has to be said. And that man there is rubbing his hands together.
Well, that is a player who is one of the best strikers, if not the best, in this competition. He's won 2 golden boots in the A-League men's. One was for a Newcastle side who missed the finals in 13-14. And one was for a Glory side who finished last in 23-24. That shows you his quality as Kickoff's delivery. He scores goals even when his side is not necessarily performing well, and that's to go with his K-League golden boot with Suwon. So it is a CV most impressive.
Well, you've got Kickoff on the score sheet, you've got Taggart on the score sheet, you've got Despotovsky, who's already showed us a glimpse of his outstanding technique and vision. Certainly don't want to put the cart before the horse, but if you remember this fixture, round 1 I'm talking about, not Perth against Wellington, but round 1 for Perth Glory last season. They lost 5-0 to MacArthur, and their season was pretty much done and dusted by half-time of that first game. This has been a very, very different opening half an hour for Perth Glory, with a very, very different side, it must be said.
To be fair to Perth, they finished off the back end of last season in decent form after they had those mid-season recruits, the likes of Lockie Wales arriving at the club. David Drillich really made it clear there were no excuses for Glory this season. They got all their friendlies against A-League opposition. And here's Eze. Trick his way into the box. Now Payne. And into the side netting. Well, there have been some openings for Wellington. That probably one of the best of them for Tim Payne.
Yeah, I think it was the best. There was one other from the edge of the box, but it's about the first time we've seen Tim Payne in this game through no fault of his own. They just haven't been able to get the ball to him in attacking areas. He's playing as more of a wing back. That was a good opportunity. Tim Payne will be disappointed he didn't get that on target and at least force a save from Matt Sutton.
Both these sides playing with that back five or back three, whichever way you look at it. Payne and Armiento, the wing backs for Wellington. For Perth, Wales and Osler. Wales in somewhat of an unnatural position because Sam Sutton's injured and Zach Zaleski is also out injured, so David Drillich has asked him to play in that left wing back role. And credit to him, the team man he is, he said, yep, I'll play that role for you, boss. And he's going head to head with Tim Payne tonight. Roofer. Geraint. Nagasawa, neat little touch through, opens up for Armiento, spilled by Sutton and cleared away by Perth. So this is a better period now Wellington are experiencing.
Yeah, well played, Wellington. Armiento disappointed he didn't find the back of the net there, but this is sloppy from Perth at the back. And this is a well-weighted pass into the path of Armiento. Difficult, it has to be said, for Matt Sutton. But he got enough behind it that Perth could clear the danger for him, his fellow defenders. Might just give Wellington just that little bit of confidence.
And you could understand if Matt Sutton's head is spinning a little bit, because he was only signed this week as an injury replacement on a 3-month deal after Mark Birighitti went down with a knee injury during the week. And he, of course, was getting ready to play for Western United this season. Well, of course, they're in hibernation this campaign after off-field issues. So he's made the trip west, just getting himself settled, and he's thrust into the heat, into the furnace of an opening round clash. So don't forget this, the penultimate match of the opening round. The final match, well, they saved the best till last, Mossy, the F3 Derby. The first of our derbies this season, the Mariners and the Jets. Who's going to win the piece of the highway this season? Of course, it's over the 3 matches. Newcastle, the Australia Cup winners. Mossy, how good was that? The Mariners, well, in a bit of turmoil, but that all gets thrown out the window when you play a derby.
Yeah, certainly the Mariners will be hoping that that's the case. Certainly Newcastle in a better place going into round 1 in a derby, having won that Australia Cup.
Here's Roy Conchi, the header from Payne across the face. Well, it's funny, the Mariners have got a decent record against Newcastle when they have been in the mire a little bit. You remember when Alan Stajic took over about 4 or 5 years ago? He orchestrated a remarkable win when they were battling against the Newcastle side the season after the grand final. So you never know what can happen in a derby. It's going to be a ripper on the coast tomorrow. 10 minutes of regulation time in this first half. There's been plenty of entertainment at HBF Park. A lot's happened. This is a lung-busting run from Tim Payne, and he just ran out of juice. And you can understand why. He's just come back from Europe. He's been playing for the All Whites against Norway and Poland, hasn't missed a beat, and now he's come back to Perth.
I think he may have been flagged for offside had he got something on that. Delivery just came a touch too late for him, but they're the sort of runs that Wellington need, those forward runs from wide areas to give the ball carriers some options.
Frustration from the home fans as Rufer hits the floor. Just feeling the tailbone here. He's got a little knee or... Oh yeah, that is a sore one.
They're painful. They are very painful.
Yeah, that doesn't tickle watching it, Mossy. You just think when you fall with all your weight right on the base of your spine / tailbone, not a pleasant sensation. He's a tough man, Alex Rufer. Came through glandular fever last year. Missed 6 weeks of action.
Interesting you mentioned Matt Sutton as well, just signed during the week.
We might have some work to do here where Brian wants some last-ditch challenges. We know it's one of his specialties. He's produced it again there. And Draker James strengthen that one-on-one situation. That is his strong point.
Very good strength. He needed to be strong, he was. And then he was calm on the ball to make sure his side kept possession. But just going back to Matt Sutton, because we saw in the warm-up tonight, Cameron Cook went off injured and he did not look happy at all. Very emotional, so I'm not sure if that was a hamstring or a groin or potentially a knee. With Birighitti out as well, it's a massive opportunity for Matt Sutton.
I don't know if there's any vision of the injury out there on social media, but we have seen vision, and it looked like a groin / high hamstring. That was what it looked like. So and it was immediate, the reaction, and he did look quite emotional as he headed to the dressing room. So you would expect he's going to miss at least a few weeks. So they got Ryan Warner, the 19-year-old, sitting on the bench. Yeah, Mossy, this was the incident.
Yeah, that was in the warm-up. And you can see there how emotional he is, but it's just the way he went down and how sharply he pulled up. The medical staff were there in the blink of an eye. So we're gonna, maybe we can get Burnsy to check with the medical staff at half-time what the injury actually was.
Bounces an awkward Oluwayemi. That time was coming out to sweep, but he's out of goal, and it is perilously close to 3-0. You could just almost hear Kelly Heald exhale there, Mossy.
Well, you would have put your house on Taggart finding the back of the net there. But Kelly Heald looked like he was in the right areas. We see Oluwayemi come way out of his area. He deals with it reasonably well there. I think it's Rufer just not strong enough to keep possession, and it comes at a nagging length from Taggart for Kelly Heald. He times it poorly and then just hoped, wished, blew the ball just to the side of the post. High drama here Incredible.
Well, it most certainly was in the corridor of uncertainty, wasn't it? That bounce for Kelly Heald. If we're continuing the cricketing analogies, Mossy, we've started with Drake and James. Here he is, man named after the famous Indian cricketer. Nice drove that pass through towards Eze. But 3-0 before half-time. Oh, Sutton's got himself in a pickle. Somehow he's turned himself away from danger, and now Rufer dinks it over the top. Well, this final match on Saturday night certainly delivering.
What did we used to call them in five-a-side as kids, flying goalkeepers?
There's lots going on here. Eze now. And handball it looked from Eze, and Ben Abraham has said yes, there is a free kick, and we all get a moment to do what Lucas Kelly Heald did and just breathe.
Wow, he's Sutton just getting himself in a little bit of a mess here. He does well in the end to recover the situation, but it was the initial risk that he took, as we see the handball, and Eze. Initial risk is something his coach won't be wanting him to do too often.
What do you reckon about the hand on the shoulder as well from Sutton on Eze? He's lucky Eze didn't go down. The referee would have had a decision to make. Here's Kacharski going it back. As well smothered by James. Sutton no doubt would have had better nights in goals, but you can afford him a little bit of leeway after what we've spoken about. His head would be somewhat scrambled after the week that's been. I just wonder how much he would have been doing as well, not having an A-League contract, of course. You know, mentally, you might not be as focused.
Well, he certainly would have been training somewhere with someone. There's no doubt about that, but you're right, if you're not playing games, it's hard to find rhythm and sharpness, decision-making. But when things are in that situation, that's where you've just got to stick to the basics, get them right. Wouldn't be the first Perth goalkeeper to go on Maisie's outside his box. Certain Liam Reddy used to... Well, I was a brunette before I coached Liam Reddy.
Well, we
blaming
never...
him for going great.
That match against Melbourne City, I don't think we've forgotten it. Nagasawa. He finds Conchi there, and it potentially is 2-1. Payne's delivery, though. Looking to cause some discomfort for the Perth backline. Well, Wellington have had a better period the last 10 minutes or so. This time it's Nazarene. And it's Osler's header. Oh, and Sutton has just narrowly kept that from crossing the line.
Look at that, for the last 10 minutes, 84% possession to Wellington. That tells a story in itself. Yeah, they are checking that, but if Sutton has kept that out, he's done exceptionally well.
This is more of the blueprint, I'm sure, that Italiano would have liked to have seen from his Wellington side earlier in this match. The control they're exerting on Glory. Eze. And Sheridan. Nice touch. Nasharine lines it up. Nagasawa. Scuffed away by O'Neill. And it is no goal confirmed there. So Matt Sutton did prevent it from crossing the line. So how much stoppage time have we got here? From Niall Gilmore, fourth official. additional minutes.
Here's that replay. Sutton. Oh, that is remarkable.
If Conchi is a split second earlier, he probably just is able to squeeze that over the line.
That is incredible. Great camera work too.
I wouldn't be giving up hope if I was a Wellington fan. 2-0 dangerous scoreline. Opportunities starting to present themselves. You can see the difference between this year and last year. That is clear to see, Mossy. They've talked about how much change they've undertaken. It's almost like they've excavated last season's blueprint and they've just regenerated another one. The disappointing part for them is that they're down 2-0. There's no doubt they were going to concede goals playing this way, but can they score them as well? Armiento. Chelsky linking with Taggart. Kelly Heald dropping it back to Oluwayemi. Stopped it dead. Allowed Nasharine a path. Nagasawa. Pass that really lacked the required venom.
But again, that's the trap that Wellington fall into when Perth fall into their defensive structure. It's a 5-2-3. And then as it gets deeper, it becomes a 5-4-1.
Eze over the top versus Caltac. Gets around him. Eze! Oh, what a debut for the Nigerian striker. First match in the A-League for the Knicks. He's also got his first goal.
Well, that is a really, really good finish from Eze. Really composed. He knew exactly what he was doing. We just talked about Wellington making some inroads in these last 10 minutes, and on the Harvey Norman replay, there's the ball forward. Good first touch, great second touch, and the third touch was deadly. And it was against none other than Brian Caltac, who is no slouch in those situations. A really good pass from Nagasawa into the path of Eze, and he does the rest.
And we've been discussing it for the last 15 minutes. Wellington were knocking on the door and it was growing louder and louder, and finally they have found a goal to cut the deficit in half, and it is absolutely no less than they deserve. And Eze has looked sharp, he's looked silky, and that was a smooth finish from the man who scored 15 goals in Iraq last season. And if you score 15 goals in a competition, it probably doesn't matter which competition at an elite level, Mossy, you have got some talent.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Conditions in Iraq not the easiest either with the heat. That was a really assured finish.
Eze taking on Caltac again. Could they make it 2-2 before half-time? This would be miraculous. Nagasawa and Payne space out wide. That's where he utilises Sheridan. We're a minute beyond the 4, and Ben Abraham calls it to a close, much to the frustration of Wellington. But Giancarlo Italiano walks towards the dressing rooms with a spring in his step. I think he almost jumped down the stairs here at HBF Park, because his side is well and truly in the fight, and Adam Taggart and his side have got some thinking to do at half-time. Perth Glory 2, Wellington Phoenix 1 in the opening round at HBF Park. We are going to head to the break. The halftime show coming up next here on Paramount Plus.
Period. They've obviously lost Mark Jackson right at the forefront of the season. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough start.
With the Isuzu UTE SUV, everyday life doesn't have to be every day.
Welcome back to HBF Park. I'm here with Eric Pardelut and Auntie Harper. Welcome. Let's get into this F3 derby, the local game. It's the oldest derby in the league and it always brings a lot of excitement. But these Central Coast Mariners are obviously heading into a bit of a difficult period. They've obviously lost Mark Jackson right at the forefront of the season. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough start for them. I think whoever comes into that position has to gel this team within a matter of days, minutes, hours, whatever he can do. It's going to be a tough ask to beat a high-flying Newcastle Jets. They've just won the Australia Cup under Mark Milligan. They are looking like they're going to have a really big season. The Mariners haven't really recruited a lot of players, so my question is where the goal's going to come from and how they're going to stop them. Sainsbury's still out, Caltech's not there anymore, Docker. It's a tough game for the Mariners.
It's brilliant reasons for both sets of fans to tune in, if not go to the stadium, because the Jets fans will think we've just won the Cup. and we could have a bloodbath on our hands here, and it's going to be great as a Jets fan to just totally dismember the Central Coast Mariners. If you're the Mariners, this is territory with which unfortunately you're a bit familiar, but also you look for your team to actually find a backbone when it counts, and they're very capable of doing that. And so for the 93rd minute goal against the run of play to beat the Jets, that's what the Mariners will be looking for. The Jets will think there's just going to be a feast on hand, so there's plenty of reasons for both fans to tune in and see which story actually ends up being told.
And what do you think it meant for those Jets fans with their team holding up that silverware during the off-season? That Australia Cup win would have meant a lot as they head into this new season.
It would have been massive, right? I think, 17 years without a trophy. Mark Milligan steps in with Nick Stavroulakis, and trying to embed a way of playing is one thing, but going and being successful and winning things under pressure is what football is all about. And, I hope they can do something in the A-League now.
Absolutely. OK, let's talk about, we've done domestic, let's go international and talk about the Matildas. Joe Montemuro has named his squad for the games against England and Wales. And of course, we're all very happy to see that Samantha Kerr has made the list. What are your thoughts on her return to the game and what it means for this team?
Well, it's a little bit of a headline, just a small headline. I mean, everyone's been waiting for 2 years. It's been a really protracted recovery. Slowly being returned to top-flight football with Chelsea. I'm not sure whether Sam feels she's more ready than her club coach does, but anyway, we'll get to see with the Socceroos. It's massive news. So big, in fact, that it overshadows the return of Courtney Vine to the squad as well. Now, Courtney has not been available for a number of reasons for a long period of time as well. World Cup superstar from that Brisbane penalty shootout. I think it was Brisbane against France, whichever it was, against France. So she's repatriated to the squad as well. So there's a lot of big names coming together for this very important game. Yeah, against England, no less.
Yeah, and they're playing Wales as well, that they've never played against before. And it's been 700 days, I think, since Sam Kerr's been in this squad. And Hayley Russo is also in line for her 100th cap, the 17th Matilda to do so. There's a lot to like about the squad. I think Joe is now funneling in and focusing in just 4 months away from the Asian Cup being at home. So these are great tests for you. It's a semi-final of the World Cup replay against the Lionesses, and then against Wales, who will be really hard to beat across there.
Absolutely. Well, we have plenty of exciting football coming your way. We've got the F3 Derby. We also have the Melbourne Derby that is not too far away, but it was all live and exclusive on Paramount+.
Welcome to the Hungry Jacks halftime show here at HBF Park, where it is Perth Glory leading Wellington Phoenix 2-1. Phil Moss, let's have a look at the Harvey Norman highlights from the first half. What was a pretty entertaining first 45?
It certainly was, Benny. It was almost a half of two halves, if you like. It was Perth Glory had the running of the game early, and here's the goal. Despotovsky involved, Taggart involved, Kucharski with no second thoughts. He knew exactly what he was going to do as soon as the ball left Taggart's foot, and he just had to focus on his technique and find that far post. Oluwayemi almost getting enough on it to save it. And here's that high line again from Wellington. Kucharski again breaking down the right-hand side. Could have got himself earlier, but then picks out his captain Taggart. He gets 2 invitations. Now, he doesn't normally need 1.5 invitations. So he took the goal well. It had to be ruled onside by VAR, and it was eventually. And here's Eze up against Kaltak. This was an excellent battle in the first half, those two. Eze wins it on a points knockout because he gets the goal to get Wellington back into the game right on the stroke of half-time. Excellent finish.
Well, start to the second half, Mossy. How did Perth get the momentum back? Because it dried up dramatically.
Yeah, well, what they did so well is they came out of the blocks quickly. They put pressure on Wellington. They got the ball in behind that high line early on, and they need to get back to that and start the second half like that. Wellington, well, that goal will have given them some oxygen. I think the halftime talk, it will still be pointed by Chiefy because he wouldn't have been happy, particularly with the first half of that first half. But certainly that will have given them some confidence. So he'll leverage that confidence that will come from that goal as well to make them believe that they can get the second goal and go on and get 3 points from this game.
Well, it's the penultimate match of the opening round, Isuzu UTE A-League edition 21. The second half is coming up next, but don't forget the final match of the round is coming tomorrow, and it's the F3 Derby.
Yes, well, I reckon I'm well credentialed to talk about the F3 Derby. I've been at a few. It's a rivalry with two teams from two working class towns who don't necessarily like each other.
And all of a sudden, the F3 Derby boils over.
In my opinion, the rivalry started in 2005 when Nick Merger broke Andrew Durante's leg, and that's when the dislike kicked in. That didn't go down well, also with the Jets winning the first championship. Definitely the biggest fixture for both clubs. They look forward to it, the fans look forward to it. It's the first thing you look at when the draw comes out. Even when they did joint press conferences, it was just different. There was an intensity there, the will to win for themselves to get the points, but for the fans.
Donovan! Oh, what a header! He has the hat-trick this time.
My favourite moment from the F3 Derby was the semi-final, second leg, we're down 2-0. Adam Kwasnick scored in the first half, deflected goal, cut inside, smashed it and it dropped in the top corner. Then Sash Petrovsky popped up with 2 goals, one in extra time.
Petrovsky! Sash Petrovsky! The Mariners may be on their way to the grand final!
Being 2-0 down and coming back to win 3-2, you don't get that often, and that was special.
Laurie, you've been on both sides. Where do your loyalties lie?
I'm the mayor of the Central Coast. Where the do you think my loyalties lie?
Half-time substitution for your Perth Glory, number 6, Brendan O'Neill, sponsored by Country Guards. Replaced by number 27, William Brady.
Welcome back to HBF Park, where it's Perth Glory leading Wellington 2-1. Let's go down to the sideline with Jacob Burns for his thoughts on that first half, Burnsy.
Yeah, what an exciting first half. It's been end-to-end. Glory had most of the game in transition, and yeah, Chiefy and the high line, it's kind of proven to be a bit of an Achilles heel, but they came back into the game, like you said, and got that goal just before half-time. So that's given them a bit of a boost and a lift in confidence. It's going to be very interesting as both teams take on a new kind of playing style with a whole lot of new personnel. One change is Freeney's coming for Brendan O'Neill. I don't know if that's an injury, but he's played a lot last year. He'll come in and do a good shift in there, and it'll be interesting to see what's happened. I know that in the lead up to it, my news is that Cookie's done something to his knee, so fingers crossed that he's back sooner rather than later.
Burnsy, how did Perth flick the switch back on from an attacking sense? Maybe they're about to do it here, but they really went into their shell back into that first half.
They did. I think you know, they're quite happy. That it's unique, right? They're quite happily sitting back with their new kind of back five, if you like, and that's where they come unstuck. They're obviously pressing well into midfield. You've had Josh Risdon, Kartak on the other side, stepping in on the 10s. That's where the goal came from. Rizzo stepped in, the ball was played back into that side of the left side of centre-back, whereas he got his goal. I think they can't shy away from that pressing game, and they've just got to get back to doing what they did at the start with the front three and Kacharski, Despotovsky and Taggart in being really crucial in that transition, because they've been very good so far. They just need to get back into that form.
Thanks, Burnsy. Looking forward to more of your insights in this second half. Phil Moss, big test, isn't it? We've spoken about it throughout the night. Two coaches coming into this season under pressure. Wellington 11th last year. Glory another wooden spoon. There is a lot riding on this match.
Yeah, there really is, and every home match is so crucial for both these clubs. I mean, away games are important, of course, as well. But if there's two clubs that can really capitalise on their geographical position, it's Perth Glory and Wellington, and probably Auckland as well, you can throw in that mix. But Burnsy made a really good point as well about that back five for Perth Glory. And similar to Wellington with regards to holding that high line and your body position and when to, you know, when to go high, when to give yourself half a yard. Rizzo tracking into midfield at the wrong time when Wellington are on the ball facing forward as Nagasawa was to pick out Eze. That's not the time to track into midfield. You track in once the ball's been played, so you're not leaving a hole in behind you, because Nagasawa looked up as soon as Rizzo tracked in, he hit the ball into the space that Rizzo had left. So timing, communication, game awareness is crucial.
And we're already seeing from players like Nagasawa this season, the fact that Wellington have had more time on the front foot. We are seeing his ability to manipulate the defence more so than we did last season. And here he is using that goal to earn a free kick, and it's Will Freeney, who's literally just come onto the field, who goes into the book.
It was all a bit scrappy there. And as you said, Nagasawa does very well there to use his body. Talk about game awareness and how to draw a foul. It was on show there by Nagasawa.
So confirmation there, Freeney into Ben Abraham's notebook, first of the night. It's Eze turning. To manoeuvre the pass in front of Nazarene, but again, Glory give it away. Touch on from Roy Conchi to Eze, the scrap and the scrounge for possession, but it's Perth Glory who win it back. And the early release for Jaden Kacharski. Eventually found Taggart, and Kacharski driving it direct at goal. Straight into the arms of Oluwayemi. No doubt the idea was to try and find Taggart, but just hit it too close to the keeper.
Well, that's right, youthful exuberance. He probably tried to play that a little bit too early, because Taggart was no chance of getting there that quickly, and he raised his arms at Kacharski as if to say, if that was for me, that was way too early, because he just laid the ball off to Kacharski. But another good opening, and it came from a transition moment once again.
But I'm sure David Drillage will be excited about Kucharski trying to deliver those early balls, because he nails that on the head of Taggart. It's a goal more often than not.
Absolutely, and you don't want to coach that out of the kid. We saw him do it for Sydney FC over the last couple of seasons, and now he's got the confidence to know that if he takes his chance, he's going to be a starting 11 player. And who better to learn your craft from than Adam Taggart?
Perth inviting some more pressure here. Wellington wasting no time.
The other thing you've got to take into account with our wonderful A-League competition is the length of the off-season, and it does take sort of agricultural defending. My man Drecker James thought he could have played the ball back to his goalkeeper there, but it does take time to oil the machine. No coach will go into game one expecting a perfectly polished performance, because no matter how many pre-season games you do, nothing beats playing competition games. I always thought you don't really see the oil in the machine until about round 4, round 5. Of course, you want to get results along the way, but when I'm talking about the fluency and the synchronicity of the players, it does take time to rebuild.
Especially when you have had the kind of squad turnover that both of these have had. Spoke about Perth with the 5 new faces in the starting side tonight. Wellington with 4. Hands to the head of Amiento. He cannot quite believe that the throw goes Glory's way. Are they looking for the long one here? Doesn't look as though Osler's keen on it. Kucharski, muscled by James. That is his strong suit. In those kind of situations, he's going to win more often than not against Kucharski. Still down after a tangle.
Yeah, it was with Brian Kaltak. I don't think there was anything malicious in it. It was just a tangle of legs as they both turned to chase the ball.
Eze still down. Nagasawa goes to the turf. There's another yellow card. Bozanovski now in. So both of their holding midfielders are into the book, and there is still almost 40 minutes of regulation time remaining, Mossy.
Yeah, and Feeney only just came on at half-time, so he was booked very early in his appearance tonight. Bozanovski, I thought he was outstanding. His attack, the tangle, there's nothing really in that, it's just clumsy. But yeah, Bozanovski, good pick-up for Perth.
Excellent. Just missing his partner in crime in Angus Thurgate. I think that's another disappointing aspect. Of course, there's lots of sad aspects of Western United not being in the comp this year, but that was certainly one. Just that combination between those two, Thurgate and Bozanovski, just developing such a great understanding. Thurgate, of course, now at Western Sydney, and Bozanovski in the west of Australia.
Yeah, I think Thurgate got most of the headlines last season, but I thought Bozanovski was absolutely outstanding. Take nothing away from Thurgate, of course. He did have a wonderful season. Bozanovski was his partner in crime. It was the yin and the yang. And once he clicks in a purple shirt, I think it'll be a wonderful signing for them.
Italiano appreciating the pressure from his side, forcing an errant pass. It's still Wellington's momentum here from half-time. After the Eze goal in stoppage time in the first half. They were down 2-0 early on. The high line exploited on a couple of occasions by Perth. First by Kucharski and then by Taggart. Nagasawa quite get the pass with the outside of the boot right, but really suffocating Perth Glory here, Wellington. Sutter gives it back to the Knicks.
Look at that awareness for young players. You could see straight away Alex Ruther looking over his shoulder, scanning to see where the defender was, protect the ball and ride the challenge to draw the foul.
Despotovsky off the toe of Rufer. Wellington again to reset here through Oluwayemi. Sawa didn't find Eza, and now Perth with a chance to probe, but it's a poor ball from a fresh player as well in Will Freeney, who's just come on. No excuse for being a little tired. Their opportunities drying up, they've got to make the most of those kind of incursions.
Yeah, well, it certainly looks like Giancarlo Italiano was on his money at half-time, and I think in the first half as well, he would have been looking for a reaction from his players. He was barking at them in that first sort of 15-20 minutes when things weren't going well. He got an on-field reaction. Looks as though he's certainly added to that at half-time, because Wellington are looking much sharper.
Oh, Eze, that has to be a yellow card, surely. Well, that was as cynical as it gets. Advantage is being played. Payne onto the left. Tim Payne on Matt Sutton. He just flew over to Perth this week. He had a shaky first half, but that is a stunning save to deny Tim Payne.
What a quality phase of football from Wellington, and then the save from Sutton. Look at this from Wellington. Charge to the Light Brigade. Nagasawa at the heart of it. Tim Payne, he would have been ready to wheel away and celebrate, and then Sutton out of nowhere goes with his opposite hand. Brilliant goalkeeping. Look at this, great camera angle here. Tim Payne looks for that far top corner. Sutton is equal to the task. Great goalkeeping, wonderful passage of play.
It's a low corner. Well, the all-white, he would have had his name up in lights. Had he equalised there, it would have been a fantastic finish from the right wing-back, Tim Payne. You mentioned Matt Sutton's week. Well, Tim Payne's had a pretty hectic week too. He's played those international friendlies in Europe against Poland and Norway. And then he's flown to Perth. Let's get some...
Sorry, I was just going to say, Benny, some green shoots for Wellington really starting to come through now with how they're linking up. Some of their one-touch passing, the ball speed, their backs to play, they're laying it off one touch. I'm sure they're all things that Chiefy and his staff have been working on during the off-season.
Well, we've got former Socceroo Jacob Burns sideline for us tonight. Burnsy, what have your takeaways been from the start to this second stanza?
Yeah, Ben, Wellington have come out firing here, as Mossy alluded to.
Hang on a second, Jacob. We'll just see if Osler can create something for Perth. And Oluwayemi has made the save at the near post. It's going to be a corner. We'll go back to you, Burnsy.
Yeah, it's just as we were saying that Glory have come down the other end here, but Wellington have come out firing in this opening 10 minutes of the second half. They certainly, as Mossy alluded to, are starting to show signs of, I think what Chiefy's commented on coming into the season, that he wanted a change of playing style and philosophy. He wanted to be controlling games and playing attacking football. They were a little bit turning over possession in the first half and weren't really linking and giving the ball away, but they've come out second half and controlled from start to finish here.
Yeah, that they have. Freeney's corner. Well handled initially by Wellington. And they earn a free kick. That'll be a relieving one for the Knicks. You got any thoughts, Mossy, on Burns' analysis there?
Yeah, no, spot on. They have implemented a different playing style philosophy this season. Chiefy has been very open about that. And, you know, in those first 20 minutes or so, Perth just didn't give them a chance. Wellington were playing into the trap. Perth were breaking on them in transition. They seem to have started to get their passing and their fluency and their combination play just starting to come through now.
Well, they've mounted a case to be back level, but they haven't been able to find that elusive second goal, Wellington, and that's what you've got to do. You have to make the most of the opportunities that you get. Perth have. They've got a one-goal buffer at the moment, thanks to their start in the opening 26 minutes. Those two goals from Kickoff and Taggart. At that moment, you thought it could be anything. One goal disallowed for offside. And then Wellington just grew in confidence. The goal right on the stroke of half-time. Just sensing a little bit of fatigue has been identified here by David Drilich in his team, so he has gone to his bench. And Nathaniel Blair is going to replace Jaden Kickoff. The 21-year-old Apia Leichhardt Jr. is looking to score his first goal in the Isuzu UTE A-League. Nick Pennington, 61 matches he played for Wellington between 2021 and 24. And he replaces Bozanovsky in that holding midfield role. Just to clarify, if you did see concussion sub, definitely no concussion sub there. So they were just regular substitutions, those two for Perth Glory. So Pennington coming into the heart of midfield alongside Will Freeney.
Brisbane taking no prisoners there with Eze.
And now Wellington are going to make some substitutions of their own. And it's Roa Conchi replaced by Hideki Yoshige. Scored a couple of spectacular goals last year. Bicycle and a free kick in his debut Isuzu UTE A-League season. How will he warm to this change in philosophy for Wellington this season? You can certainly see that it's suiting Kazuki Nagasawa, who we probably expected more of last year, and we're seeing his match smarts tonight as he gets more opportunities to create in the final third for the Knicks.
Yeah, he's certainly been one of Wellington's best tonight. Obviously laid the pass on for Eze's goal, which was fantastic vision and weighted pass.
Nathaniel Blair now stretching Kelly Heald, who was caught out a couple of times, or more than a couple of times in that first half, but he contained Kacharski, effectively had him in the back pocket for probably the last half hour of this match. Now he's got the fresh legs of Blair to try and contain. So look at possession. Utterly dominated by Wellington in this match so far. But the action area is pretty even if you look at each end of the pitch, despite Wellington's domination with the ball.
Yeah, that's right. 6 shots for Perth, 8 for Wellington on target, 5 for the home side, 4 for the visitors. It's the final third entries as well, where Wellington are quite superior, 56-28.
Taggart using the speed this time of Nathaniel Blair. Tough angle for Blair, but it's pushed away by Oluwayemi.
Gee, Blair did well in the end there. Nathaniel Blair, I thought the ball was getting away from him, and then he slides in and really gets some power behind the half volley. There's the ball over the top by Taggart. His first touch was pretty good, but the ball does seem to get gaining pace on him. Does very well to test Oluwayemi. Tack some power behind that volley.
So the corner towards that near post. It was dipping on Blair. Pennington way over the top of everyone, and then just a sloppy one there from Kaltak.
Yeah, it's a sloppy one, and it just releases the pressure. Kaltak should know better with his experience. Tim Payne was going nowhere, really. Just need to jockey him and see if he could win the ball back and keep the pressure applied.
Nagasawa back to his feet as Ben Abraham was happy to play advantage for Wellington. Ishige. Scott Wootton marshalling his Perth Glory side, co-captain at the Glory alongside Adam Taggart in his first A-League match against his old side. Freeney. Hear the footsteps of Eze, so he released Taggart swiftly, and Adam Taggart, you don't see that too often, out-muscled. And it was Mandrake James, the 191-centimetre Canadian international.
Well, you can see him defending there. He's trying to step up. Taggart does so well to arc his run, and he's got the lead on James, and he does exceptionally well to get back and defend that situation.
And it's Payne with the early ball. Eze, was he felled illegally? It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Because Carlo Armiento on A-League men's debut with Wellington Phoenix draws them back level from 2-0 down. It is 2-2 in the distance derby.
Well, how a game can swing. Only football can dish this up. Armiento is a benefactor of some wonderful work down the right-hand side by Wellington. Eze put his body on the line. The ball falls nicely. There it is on the Harvey Norman replay. And it's Tim Payne who swings in a delightful cross. Just puts it into a danger area. Eze and Kaltak, not for the first time this evening, come to blows. And it's Armiento with a wonderfully technical finish on the back post with that trusty left foot of his to draw the sides level.
Oh yes, Mossy. We expected goals. We expected entertainment tonight. These two sides, they talked up a big show tonight. They promised that they were going to provide us with some entertainment this season. And oh, they certainly have delivered. 2-2, and we've still got 20 minutes to play.
And I suggest you strap your seatbelts in for these final 20 minutes plus injury time, because this game is hanging in the balance. We've just seen Taggart down the other end, who almost had a one-on-one. The game goes up the other end, and it's Wellington that draw level. Be a game person to put money on the result.
Oh, and look at this. Look what Wellington have to go to on the bench. They have Luke Smith, one of the most exciting young players in this competition. This is a player who rejected selection in the New Zealand under-17 team, and you know why? He said, I want to lock down my spot in this Wellington Phoenix side, and I want to stake my claim to play at the World Cup next year. He played in the under-20 World Cup for New Zealand just recently in Chile. He's come back, and he wants a spot in Darren Baisley's team in America, Canada and Mexico 2026. So it's Nazarene, the player replaced, and Brooks Smith, who effectively set up the goal in the Australia Cup round of 32 clash between these two. It was his shot that was saved by Ollie Sale, who was Perth's keeper on that afternoon, and it was finished off by Kelly Heald.
Well, I remember you and I that night on the comms, Benny, getting very excited about this kid.
I spent a lot of time with you that night, Mossy. I think it was about 4 hours it went for, but there's always drama when these two play, isn't there?
There really is. I think that night it was Adam Taggart that drew Perth level to send it into extra time very late on. We had some electrical activity from the sky.
This time it's electrical activity which is going to come on the football pitch, I'm sure. So just confirmation there, Risdon a yellow card, and Blair giving away the free kick.
Gee, how important was that defending from Mandrake James and Adam Taggart? Just a couple of minutes before Wellington went down the other end and equalised.
Caltac, Osler. We mentioned the pressure on both of these two coaches leading into this match. A draw doesn't really shut up the critics. A win is required for Italiano and Zrilic. Maybe more so for Zrilic, considering that Perth are at home here. Wellington have travelled all the way from New Zealand for this one. Risdon just not linking that with a teammate.
Yeah, that's right. The pressure, more pressure is definitely on the home coach, particularly in the early rounds of the competition, to get off to a good start, particularly when there's been so much turnover in the Perth Glory dressing room. But we just saw a perfect example of where Chiefy's done some coaching, because Jacob Burns called it out in the first half. If you're going to play a high line, your keeper has to be sweeping. Oluwaemi just came out and swept the situation very well. It looked like Perth were in behind.
Wharton, bad for a ball. For a moment, you just thought Taggart was in the game. Well, Mossy, dare I say it?
Well, then don't say it.
Is the script written for a Despotowski winner? Here's Eze. Maybe it's Luke Brooks Smith who's the man, the teenager. Wellington's youngest ever goal scorer. Final 15 minutes at HBF Park. And Tim Payne just quite straying one final sinew to bring that under control. You can understand why he's cramping up, Mossy.
Yeah, it's certainly been a big week. There's the cross for the goal. Namiento just so calm, cool, collected on the far post to just side-foot it in.
So Joel Anasmo has returned to Perth glory. Well, swiftly answered my question. It won't be a winner from Despotowski tonight. But gee, they appreciated the work of the 19-year-old on starting debut in the A-League. Made his debut last season in this competition against Wellington, his second appearance tonight. And it's Joel Anasmo, who went on loan at the back end of last season to John Brook. He played one match for their reserves. Back with Perth this year. No doubt having learnt a lot from that experience with one of the Korean giants. Is there a second win for Perth glory? Because, gee, they roared out of the blocks in the first 25 minutes, and then since then, just haven't been able to find the same kind of rhythm.
No, they really need their 12th man. So I think Tim Payne's night might be done here. But they do need their 12th man, Perth glory. They need the shed to really get behind them and give them that extra energy.
Some pickle juice. Honestly, I just wonder how his body knows what time it is. Having been in Europe, it's about 1 p.m. in Europe. Wellington, it's about 1 a.m. Would have been in about 3 or 4 different time zones in the last 2 weeks. So you would expect a change forthcoming.
Yeah, and there's the contributions from Jaden Kucharski and the goals tonight. Eze for Wellington. And of course, Taggart and Kucharski for Perth glory before Namiento pulled an equalizer out of the bag for Wellington. Nothing less than Wellington have deserved, by the way, getting themselves back into this contest.
Anasmo rode the challenge, overhit the pass. Taggart applauds because he knows if he just measures that slightly better, he's in the game.
He had to hit it with pace, and that's the point. It just didn't quite have the direction, but it needed the pace on it to beat the defender. He was trying to put it straight onto the right foot of Taggart for one touch under control, second touch back to the net.
Caltac. Whistle is gone. It's been a little stop-start the last few minutes. There it was.
Bodies on the line. Preston coming in strongly. Eze just as strong. Came in with a raised boot, Eze, but he got it out of the way pretty quickly because he sensed the danger.
So we're looking to the sideline again. Here we are for another change. Now, this is an intriguing one, right? So we've got Corbin Piper, who's coming on for Matt Sheridan. I've been told this year that Corbin Piper may be playing as a striker. But based on that substitution, you who would slot into the back line. Hang on, Mossy, there's a sheet of paper here. Piper has gone to his captain with a sheet of paper. I hope he destroys that, doesn't just throw it on the ground. And this is a big moment for Schwinn Loke, who just recently come back from the FIFA Under-20 World Cup with New Zealand. And tonight he makes his Isuzu UTE A-League debut. It's a story of a lot of hardship. His mother passed away from breast cancer, and it really inspired him alongside his dad to really make the most of this footballing journey. And hasn't he done that? It's such a special moment, an emotional moment for him and his family. And he gets a chance to play in the A-League for the very first time tonight. He's head-to-head with Tim Payne for that right wing-back role. Difficult task, but he's going to learn a lot from Tim Payne, who, of course, at national level. Football saved life after the passing of his mother. Asmo and Lockie Wales. Nathaniel Blair tried to trick his way between Ishiga and Luke. Wales. Wellington just not on the same wavelength as a Nasmo or Lockie Wales. Wasn't a bad idea. And Ben Abraham is just pointing to his watch just to let Josh Oluwayemi know that he is keeping a record of all of this time to be added on at the end of the 90.
I think you're right with you.
Oh, hang on a second. I believe he's been yellow carded here. Yep, and that's good refereeing, Mossy.
Yeah, that's right. Cracking down the referees this season on time wasting and how long a goalkeeper holds the ball in general play, which that wasn't, of course. But good to see the referees getting the game moving at this stage. But I think you're right about Corbin Piper. He's certainly not playing in defence. He's playing higher up the pitch in midfield.
Well, he was their second leading scorer last year, 3 goals behind Barbarouses, but yeah, he was obviously a utility option for Giancarlo Italiano last year. He played in a number of positions this season. Wants to use that physicality higher up the pitch as his boss, and well, he certainly exerted his physicality there. And is he about to go into the book? It would seem not, but he's given away the free kick. You can certainly tell Wellington very keen on a draw here. It's quite a remarkable record. They've actually drawn their last 4 opening round matches, Wellington. David Drilich's team, not that he's been at the helm since then, but the last time Perth have won an opening round match was back in the 2020-2021 campaign when they beat Adelaide 5-3. Tough to get opening round wins in the Isuzu UTE A-League as that is well handled. Oh, and Nasmo, a bit of push and shove. Armiento, he's puffing the chest out after he scored the equalizer. He's just having a little chat to a Nasmo. Tempers fraying.
Well, it was all happening between Nasmo and James, wasn't it? James using his body to shield the ball out, and Nasmo doing everything he could to get something on it. Here's the contact with Eze, and you could see it was Scott Wootton that just went through the back of Eze's leg, and there's the tangle between those two that I just mentioned, James and Nasmo. Armiento's having none of it. Rufa the peacemaker, Eze the patient.
There's been a lot of patience of Wellington over the last 5-10 minutes or so. They are wasting time like there is no tomorrow, Mossy. This is reminding me of the opening round match back in... Oh, hang on a second. Eze now in a brouhaha with Lachie Wales. Or now he's grabbing a hamstring. Has he injured his hamstring in the verbal altercation?
Well, the contact looked like it was from Wooten on the calf. But Eze's holding his hamstring there.
He's not happy with Wales, is he? He's absolutely furious. The red mist is descending. Brooke Smith is the Paramount Plus player index. Nagasawa leading the way in a strike from Armiento. But what I was going to say is 2 years ago, Italiano's first match in charge, they were unheralded. They achieved a 0-0 draw against Western Sydney, and it set the platform for a season where they finished second and went within minutes of the grand final. It's got a similar kind of feel about it if they can achieve a result tonight. Caltac hoofs it up the ground. You just can sense the frustration around HBF Park. 2-goal lead evaporating. Burnsy, how are you sensing the home fans are feeling at the moment?
Yeah, you're spot on, Ben. A little bit of frustration after being 2-0 up and a couple of half chances and close calls on offside, but it's been all Wellington since. Maybe, yeah, insane every time you cross to me. Glory get him in the transition. What's been really, really interesting, what's going to play out here now is all the work in the pre-season done. All right, the teams that have done the most and are fitting well, and the subs that are being made, they'll prove to be the difference in the dying moments of this game. So very interested to see on what the subs are doing. Nathaniel Blair, obviously Chiefy's gone for playing that high line. Dave thought he'd bring some pace on in behind him with an Asmo and Blair, so that might be where they get a bit of joy glory for a home win. But yeah, Wellington, you know, they'll be digging in to try and get a point, because it's a hard place to come with all that travel, as we've all mentioned. They'll be delighted with a point and coming back from 2-0 down.
Thanks, Burnsy. No doubt. And you can see those offsides. So the high line, yes, it is going to result in them giving up chances and opportunities when you've got players with a lot of pace like Jaden Kaczarski exploited in the first, but it's also going to bring some offsides. 4 times they've caught Perth offside. Both sides absolutely scrapping for everything, as you would expect. Opening round, Wellington have never won away from home in the opening round of the Isuzu UTE League in their previous 18 seasons. They have never won away from home in the opening round of the A-League men's. It is quite a remarkable record. Could they win for the first time tonight, or will it be Perth? Can they pull one out of the fire late and achieve a famous home win on opening night? Well, they won't right here, right now, because it's a goal kick for Oluwayemi, who has to be very, very careful here because he's already on a yellow card. Have you ever seen, Mossy, someone get 2 yellow cards for time wasting? wouldn't that set it all alight here at HBF Park?
And what we've seen tonight, Benny, and dismiss it.
Piper did well in the end, and win the header. Powerful and strong. Rufer hooks it back. Flag is up.
I have to say, I think Nagasawa and Rufer in the midfield for Wellington have just put in such a great shift tonight. Things weren't going their way early on. Perth had the running in the early stages of this game, but those two I think, were fundamental in grabbing this game by the scruff of the neck and getting Wellington back into the contest.
Blair. From nowhere, Nathaniel Blair just appeared. Pennington. Rufus stooping. Blair chipping. Abraham waves that appeal away. Oh, and that is going to draw the ire of the home fans and the Perth Glory bench, who are furious with that decision. It looks soft.
Yeah, it certainly did. I think there was a stray arm there from Risdon with no intent to hurt Eze. As we see Blair up the other end. Was there a foul there? Nagasawa says no. And there's the stray arm from Risdon. He's just trying to get his balance.
Are they almost identical though, Mossy, both of those?
Yeah. If the referee, Ben Abrams, going to give us consistency, I'm all for that. Play on, I say.
So we've got 7 minutes of additional time. No one's too disappointed about that, especially if you're a neutral. And the header. Up went James. Eze chasing. Plenty of time for Wellington to snatch a famous, famous victory it would be. From 2-0 down to win at 3-2. Rare as hen's teeth. And an opening day win away from home for the first time in club history. Eze snuffed out by Risdon. Wales. James strong in the air.
As good a win as it'll be for Wellington if they can find a way, it'll be a disastrous loss for Perth Glory. First game of the season, new squad, 2-0 up at home. The draw will be bad enough from that.
Oh, Armiento again here. He's taken the angry pills at the back end of this one. There's a bit going on here. I know we joke around about distance derby, but it's got the feeling of a derby, the back end of this one, hasn't it? Look at this. It's the longest distance between two clubs, effectively in world football, that play in the same competition. And it is an enthralling rivalry. Wellington lead at 22-21 with 11 draws. Now we're about to see draw number 12, or a Perth about to level it up. Blair going up. Pennington. Maybe Wellington. Through Piper. Was a little off balance. Risdon goes down. Eze concedes the free kick. Risdon heading to the sideline. Mossy, I've just had one of our producers, Robbie Feldman, big Auckland FC fan. He's just texted me, this is the old distance derby. Because, of course, Auckland to Perth is further. But you know what, Robbie, you know, this is the original distance derby. There's nothing like the rivalry between on a technicality. Love it, Robbie. Here's Corbin Piper. Oh, problem here for Wootton. Problem here. Yellow card for him.
That's a painful one for Corbin Piper. Got him right across the shin. He rode the challenge from Risdon. Couldn't get away from Wootton. Now Wellington with a chance to swing it into the danger area. So Ben Abraham
just instructing Ishige to take the ball back a metre or so. The delivery is disappointing, but Armiento! Well, we know he can get a ball to move. We've seen him get those long strikes to talk before. That time, not on target.
Well, it turned out okay for that shot from Armiento, but really disappointing delivery from Ishige. At this stage of the game, to not beat the first defender, and you've got a chance to create a winner, it's inexcusable.
Flick on from Taggart, looking to use that pace of Blair. I would love to feed him in behind. He certainly has got the pace to worry the Wellington backline. The time is slipping away.
I'll tell you what, Sutton's had a good game tonight. Aside from that shaky moment on the ball outside his box, pulled off a wonderful save from Tim Payne.
Oh, Armiento, gee. So he's given away the free kick and then he's kicked the ball away. And he just gets a yellow card. Yes, you could probably argue harsh if he gets a red there, but that's not the smartest thing to do, Mossy.
No, certainly not. His team's going to need him this season.
Taggart sniffing around. Oh, here we go. Is there a long throw on offer from Osler? What's he got in the locker room? He's been practicing these. I don't think he has. No, just goes short to Blair. Kaltak into the mixer and Nasmo. Taggart herring after it. Wales. Taggart. And just mistimed the pass with the run of Pennington. And now it's Eze. Down he goes. It was a good tackle.
Great challenge.
Legal.
Great challenge, Josh Risdon. That was a huge challenge. Wellington were away if he didn't make that intervention.
So a free kick here for Perth Glory. It could be well and truly all on this.
Look at that from Rizzo. That is an experienced challenge, ball and all.
So do they just lump it, or do they look short here? Looks as though Freeney's going to go long. Just get it into the mix and see what happens. Freeney drives it forward, off the head of Rufer. Kaltak gets up. It's a corner, is it? Yes! Yes, there's a final corner here for Perth.
This smells like Adam Taggart time.
He will be sniffing around the Perth Glory marksman. A drama-filled night. What is the crescendo? It's low. Is it another corner? No! Nathaniel Blair can only laugh. They took a long time to make the decision, the referees.
But the delivery has just killed them. You've got to get that into the danger area. You've got to beat the first man and just give your attacking players a chance to run at something at this stage of the game.
Mossy, what do you think Eric Partaloo is thinking watching that? He's thinking, come on, get the delivery up there nice and high.
Did you have to bring that up? Seriously.
I'm sorry. We've got full time here at HBF Park. A dramatic distance derby. Gee, it had just about everything. Adam Taggart, Jaden Kucharski put Perth into a 2-0 lead inside the opening 26 minutes. And then it was Wellington, their new recruits. Eze first before half-time, Armiento after the break. And the spoils are shared in the West. Wellington have drawn their opening round match in 5 consecutive seasons. Perth failing to win on opening day. Once again, they have waited since 2021. It will go on for another season. Full time here at HBF Park in the 55th distance derby in the Isuzu UTE League. Perth Glory 2, Wellington Phoenix 2. Mossy, talk us through your thoughts on that one.
Well, Perth, I think in the first 15-20 minutes showed snapshots of what they're capable of this season. Really excited by their front three, Despotovski, Kacharski and